Welcome back to Taja's cabin. This is part 8. Now, as you can see, we've not done any work on the exterior yet, and there's a very good reason for that. And I mentioned before how having both mods open, it would be kind of difficult to copy and paste logs where logs already exist. You know, it's just going to be really difficult. And I still have the reason I not just say, well, why not just open up the one in the creation kit and go ahead and build the walls. I still have things on the interior that I need to transfer over. So until that's done, we can't do the outside. I mean, I can, but it's going to be really difficult. So we still have some work to do on the inside. But before we get to that, let's go see what's been done on the exterior, which is the basement. It looks like it's inside, but it's technically outside. You can see I've added some big ass torches here, and one thing I'm considering doing is moving the pull chain over to here and then lowering these torches a little. For some reason they look odd being that high up. I've got them over here as well. Another thing I did was I had a big timber beam across here like I have over here. You see this big rectangular beam. But I found that when I put the logs in place, and this is the right height, that's where we're supposed to go, it's pretty much, you can't even see the wood beam. So there really wasn't any point in having that. And another thing I did, which has bothered me, because when I raised the portcullis, it went right up through the ceiling. I mean, it went through the ceiling. That made no sense at all. And I thought, you know, there's got to be some kind of a gap, a groove, a place for the portcullis to go. So that's what I've done. I've created a little groove here. You can see here's the portcullis. And I moved the stone blocks out a little bit so the log is sitting on top of that. And I think I adjusted the position on these bottom stones as well. I've not done that with this side yet. I wanted to test this one a little bit more before I made the decision to move this one, but I think I will. I like how this looks. I like having that little groove right there. And it was a little bit tricky because in order to do this, I had to take that ceiling and push it in that direction, which meant that it was overlapping the next ceiling piece. And when you have pieces that overlapping, you get a blinking, flickering effect. So I had to move that one. And I had the problem here, so I had to move that one. The overlapped pieces are actually now beyond this wall. You won't see them, so that's what makes this possible. I've made some changes to the lighting in here. This light I made a little less bright. I think I moved this one or increased the radius on that one a little bit. There's a light source here. It might be that the emittance is turned off, is why it's not showing up. We'll check it later this evening. And I think I increased the radius on this light as well. Now, while we're over, well, let's finish talking about the lighting. We'll get a better look at this at night. Increase the brightness on the light source here and here. And this light source, I decreased the brightness of it. Now, I may come back and increase the radius of this one so it'll illuminate this area in the middle because, and we'll see at night, this area right down the middle, it's kind of dark. So I may increase the radius of this one so it extends out to here a little bit, and I may even tweak the brightness down just a little bit more. And I did add a light source here, and I have to check the emittance on this one too. It may not turn on until later. You can see a little bit of flickering right there. That's from the candles. That's not from the light source. So, what else has been done down here in the basement? Well, for starters, we have a lot of static objects now. All these ingredients, all of them, everything on this table has now been replaced with actual statics. So none of these things will move. I've not done the bottles yet. So if I fire off that, whatever that battle cry thing is, those bottles are going to go flying. But this stuff is now all static. This took a long time. I'm kind of delaying starting on these bottles. I'm not looking forward to that. There's so many. I really don't think I'm going to do but maybe half of them. It's just going to be really time consuming. Everything on these two shelves is now static as well. Everything. So none of that stuff's moving, which is great. I've got a few static items over here. These books were replaced with static books, just like these books over here are actual statics. And I think I made these two soul gems static, but I still have a few more. You can see the grand soul gems, the diamonds. I don't have statics for those yet. I've got to replace some of these with statics, and I got to replace the scrolls. I think I already have a static scroll, so I just need to replace them. But there's not a whole lot left other than those few things and these bottles. And tweaking the light sources, so I think just about everything else is done. I do need to replace the saws, hammers, and tongs, and these Dwemer scrap metal with statics. They've not moved yet at all, ever, but I'm still going to replace them with statics. And I replaced the heartstones with actual statics. And this book. So, that's where that is. Now, I've also added a shelf here. I talked about this before. Here are the three shines. Arcade, Julianos, and Kinnereth. These are ones that give fortify health, fortify magical, fortify stamina, and you can see the bottles next to them to tell you what they do. I may take one of these bottles from each. I don't think they need two, but it does. You can look at the bottles and it'll clue you off as to what they do. It's more for my benefit because I can't remember them, although having redone this several times, I think I know them by now. Let's see, in here I did fix this doorway entrance, and I added the furniture that was in the old mod. This is a little bit bigger room than the other one. I could make it even bigger than this if I wanted, but it doesn't need to be, so I'm not. I may put a little table in the corner here and a couple of chairs. It looks kind of empty, that big empty spot there. And we've been doing a little bit of work in the armory, so let's go check that. Well, let's see. Do I want to fire off Battle Cry? Do we want to watch the... Let's go ahead and watch the bottles. Alright, are we all done? Do I need to hit it again? Alright. But as you can see, the ingredients... right there where they're supposed to be. And the same with the items on this shelf. Nothing's moved. And of course over here the diamonds are all gone now. They've been shouted out of there. And some of the scrolls are misplaced, but we're getting close. We're getting close. Anyway, let's go see what's been done here in the armory. Most of the items are in place right now. The containers, the display cases, they're not hooked up and they're not working yet. I still need to add the vases and the plants in the corners and a trapdoor that's going to lead into the main house. But all the rest of the weapon holders are in position and the mannequins are in position, and I've changed the lighting in here. I'm using the same lighting template we're using inside the house, and I've added the light sources here. It looks different because there's no ceiling on here, but if it was, it would look exactly the same as before. And over here, I don't have everything in place here yet, but you can see right away this room is bigger. I did extend it. I'm still debating possibly lowering the floor to make the gem pit look more pit-like, for lack of a better word. And I still need to make a... well, I don't have to make a custom safe. I can just use the default one, but I thought I'd go ahead and make a custom safe and put it in here. That way I can have it empty if I need to. And I got to put the gold in here. And I've got a light source here near this wall and one near this wall. I just need to add the sconces and put the miscellaneous items on the shelves. But yeah, so there's still work to be done here, but it's coming along. Now we'll go see what's been going on with the rest of the house. When we left off, if I remember right, the living room was partially done, and it's not completely done, but it's very, very close. So as we can see, this looks, aside from the roof being on, looks exactly the same, as it should, because I am literally copying and pasting most items over. Now, we had some items missing, like there was nothing on this table last time. There was stuff missing from the shelves. Those have been replaced. I've made new statics and got everything back in place where it's supposed to be. Made new statics for these, but everything's should be very close to the same. And we've got that missing vase is now there. We've got the lavender in place. This stuff's all static. And the balcony is in place, or the loft, I guess it's called. Now, this little wall right here, this dividing wall, was interfering with that, so I had to lower it quite a bit more, which is actually okay. I like the fact that there is a little divider wall, but you can still see the fire in the fireplace, so I kind of like that. But you can see our loft is in place, and all our hold shields are in place, and this area looks a little bit different. For starters, the shelf is gone, and I have the shrines up here. It's like I was talking about before. The same shrines as downstairs, and a little potion bottle next to each one to indicate what they do. And I'm going to make these the actual containers. This is like, what the heck is that? Oh, it's a window. Okay, man. This is similar to what is up in the bedroom, or what will be again in the bedroom. I kind of like this idea a little bit better than what I had before. Now, the only issue I'm having right now is there's still 3 containers that need to be added over here. There's one for the potions and poisons, one for the ingredients, and one for armor. So we've got staff, well, what will be a staff container, weapons. This is the crafting supplies, clothing in this little cabinet, jewelry in the jewelry box, soul gems. So it's going to be a little tricky. I'm not sure how I'm going to fit all 3 of those in. Obviously, I can put something up here on this part of the shelf and probably 2 things down here. So that still needs to be done. And aside from that, I need to add the chain on the top of that chandelier. They got a short chain. I need to put that in there. I think that's it for the living room. Oh, there is one other thing I may do. There is one little change I may make. And what I'm thinking of doing is I may get rid of the metal man here and this little table, and either move the mannequin over in the corner, or maybe put a snow bear, kind of like that one over here. But the reason for that is I want to clear these 2 things out, because there's a possibility I may knock out this window and put a door right here, which will go out onto the deck outside on that side of the house. That deck's not there right now, but I may put a door there. I kind of like the idea of being able to walk out on there from the living room. You'll be able to get there from here, but you'll have to go around to get to that side of the deck. So I'm undecided on that. So off to the kitchen and dining room. You can see there is all the statics have been replaced. Before we just had the furniture items in, but we've got statics everywhere here. You can see nothing's moving. That part in the middle was changed. I think there was a vase with some flowers in it, so I just got a platter with some food. This is pretty much exactly the same. The items on this shelf. Over here, I've got these small crates, and I put the food items in the crates. I thought that made a little more sense. Some minor changes, but nothing significant. We've got some bottles and some tankards here on the bar. We've got some wine bottles and food items here. Again, it's all not exactly the same, but it's pretty close to the same. We've got our sweets over here, a couple of pies, and another crostata, bags of flour. We've got our cooking pot. working nicely. A couple items there, grilling, and a few items here. And again, this is not exactly the same as before, but it's very close. And we've got some stuff on the drying rack up here. The only thing I forgot to add before starting the video was the hanging rabbits and hanging pheasants. So that's, I think, the only thing left to do here in the kitchen and dining room. So as soon as that, oh, and I need to add a food container. So that's it over here. Then we can put the ceiling in and start on the upstairs, which I've not done aside from the loft. And that's all it is, just like before. And as you can see, there are miscellaneous items. This container is an empty one by default. I didn't do that. I swear I didn't. But there's miscellaneous items in here, so these are good containers. Unlike last time. So a couple more things to add in the kitchen, and then we can put the floor in and then start bringing over all the stuff from the library and the player's bedroom. And a couple minor things to do down here in the living room. I still have to hook up these weapon containers as well. But aside from that, we're just about done in here. So things are moving along. Things are moving along quite well. Let's wait till dark and see what the lighting is like downstairs. Downstairs, outside, in the basement, whatever term you want to call it. Then we'll check the lighting in here again. It's just like before. I've not changed anything. The same lighting template, the same light sources, copied and pasted, same place. Nothing's changed there. Oh, that's right. I do need to add the wall sconces right here and here, just like what's on this door, because there's a light source, but there's no actual, illumination. Anyway, let's well, there's nothing really to check in here. It's the same as in the living room, the same as before. The fill lights, which are positioned right around here, they've gone dark, and in the other light sources is under the chandelier has come on. The same as over here. Just like before, same light sources, same place. Nothing's changed there. So this is the issue. Now this light source is not on right now, and I don't know why. It did this to me before when I was testing. Same thing as over here. This light source should come on. I don't know if it's... It might be an emittance thing, but at this time of day it should be on. Okay, now it looks like it's on. And this one's on. Okay. This one I think I may still increase the radius a little bit. But as you can see, in the center of the room here, it's still kind of dark. And I can't really put a chandelier in here because the ceiling is kind of low. So I may just have to take existing light sources and kind of extend them a little bit. Like I could take the light source that's in here, that's positioned right about here, and maybe I'll just move it to here and increase its radius a little bit. But yeah, this looks a little bit better. It's not quite so dark over there. So there'll still be some fine-tuning going on. A lot of statics to make, and the exterior has to be built, and let's see how this looks. This was blinking on and off before. That's okay now. Huh. That's interesting. This light source was literally blinking on and off before when I was testing it. Okay, well, I think that's where we're going to leave it for now. Again, there's still a lot of statics that have to be made. There's a few minor things in the kitchen and living room, and then we need to work on the bedroom, the player's bedroom, and the library. And there's still a lot of work to be done in the armory and the vault, the gem pit, and of course building the exterior. But we're making good progress. Things are moving along nicely. Everything down here is looking really good. despite the mess I made. But that's where we're going to leave it for now. So thanks for watching. Take it easy, have a great day, and I will see you in part 9.